Happy spooky season, everyone. Tonight's story is based on an urban legend from Japan, and I'm just gonna warn you out front. This one's pretty gruesome, so if you feel the slightest bit squeamish about gruesome stuff, I recommend you skip this one. Now, this story, it's kind of cursed. It's a story about dreams, you see, and sometimes dreams will stay with you. They'll stay in your mind. They'll come back. And this story in this dream, it's the kind of dream where you become aware that you're dreaming. You can call it lucid dreaming or whatever you like. But well, I'll just tell you about what happened. See, in this dream, I was all alone, standing on the platform of a dimly lit and deserted looking railway station. And suddenly I knew it was a dream, and I thought to myself, wow, this is boring. And then I heard an announcement come over the loudspeaker in a dull, monotone voice saying, "The train will be arriving shortly. If you get on board, you will experience something very scary." And after this cryptic announcement, the train pulled into the station. But it wasn't a normal train. It looked like the kind that you see at amusement parks or zoos. There were a few men and women sitting in the cars, and their faces I noticed were very pale. Well, this is a weird dream now, I thought, but I was curious about the announcement I heard. Would I really see something scary? And what would it be? And and how could they know what would scare me? So I decided that just waiting around and being bored was no fun. I decided to get on the train and find out. After all, I was aware that I was dreaming. How scary could it be? So I sat down in the third car from the rear, and the air around me felt uncomfortably warm, and everything started to feel quite realistic, and I began to wonder if I really was dreaming. And then the announcer said, "The train is now departing." As the train began to move, my heart started pounding with anticipation, anxiety. I'm not sure, but I was curious what would happen. And soon after the train left the platform, we entered a tunnel that was illuminated with an eerie purple light. "Oh, I've seen this tunnel before," I said to myself. "It was the tunnel from a ghost train ride in an amusement park I visited as a kid. That's why I was dreaming about this weird train. I was just remembering all the haunted house rides from my childhood. This isn't anything at all to be scared of," I told myself. And just then, there was an announcement over the train speakers. "Next stop, Ikezukuri. Ikezukuri is next." Ikezukuri? That's not a station. That's a rare Japanese food. Takes a very skillful chef, and they cut up a fish and they cook it in such a way that it's still alive when they serve it to you. The poor fish lies there on your plate, gasping while you eat it. It's grotesque, but it's considered a delicacy. And I was still thinking about that and how my mind immediately knew what that dish was. And then I heard a loud, piercing scream coming from behind me, and I turned around and saw 4 hunchbacked creatures dressed in rags. They were surrounding the man in the last seat, and as I looked closer, I saw that the creatures were wearing monkey masks, and they were brandishing large, sharp knives. Right before my eyes, they began slicing the man, slicing pieces into him. They were preparing him just like Ikezukuri. And an overpowering stench filled the air. The man kept screaming and screaming as they pulled his bloody organs out of his body and threw them around the train car. And I noticed there was a very sickly looking woman with long hair sitting in the seat directly behind mine. When the screaming started, she began to panic, but only for a moment, and then she just became silent, and she turned to face the front, as if nothing was going on. I was terrified by the horrible things that were happening behind me, and I started to wonder whether or not I was actually dreaming. When I turned around again, the man in the back seat was gone. All that remained were blood stains and the occasional chunks of viscera. The woman behind me was still staring straight ahead. Her face was expressionless, but I could feel her eyes. Next stop, scooping, the announcement said. Scooping is next. This time, 2 of the monkey masked creatures appeared. They were carrying spoons with serrated edges on them, and they scooped out the eyes of the woman behind me. Up until now, her face had remained expressionless, but the pain twisted her face into a look of horror, and she began shrieking so loudly that I thought my eardrums would burst. Her eyes flew out of the sockets, and that stench of blood and body odor was unbearable. I bent over. I was shivering in fear. This was my cue to leave. I couldn't take any more of this. Wake up, I told myself. I have to get out of here. Please wake up. And then a horrible thought struck me. Judging by how things had been going, I was next in line. Next stop, minced meat, came the announcement. Minced meat is next. I felt sick. It wasn't hard to imagine what would happen next. I concentrated as hard as I could, trying desperately to force myself to wake up from the dream. Come on, wake up, I told myself. This is just a dream. Wake up, wake up. And suddenly, I heard a loud, metallic whirring noises, sounding like grinding machinery. This time, the 2 creatures were sitting on my knees, and they were holding a strange-looking contraption that I assumed was a mincing machine. I was terrified. It's all just a horrible dream. Wake up! Wake up! I closed my eyes and I prayed as hard as I could. For the love of God, please wake up. The machine whirred, and I could hear the sound getting closer. I could feel the air from the machine on my face. I was sure there was no hope for me. It was over. I was surely a goner, I thought. And then all of a sudden everything was silent. I woke up in bed, soaked in sweat. Tears were streaming down my face. Somehow, I had managed to escape from the nightmare. I slipped out of bed and went to the kitchen to get a drink of water, and I tried to calm myself. That was horribly realistic, I thought to myself. Thank atheismo it was only a dream. And the next day, at school, I told all my friends about that terrible dream I had experienced, and I expected them to be horrified, but they all just thought it was funny. I guess in a way it was. After all, only a dream. Years passed, and I went to college, and I'd completely forgotten about the dream. However, one night I was working late at the office. It had been a busy day, and I was really tired. I leaned back in my chair and I closed my eyes, just for a moment, and that's when it happened. Next stop, scooping. Scooping is next. It was the same. Everything came flooding back. The same two crooked creatures in monkey masks gouging out the eyes of that expressionless woman. It's just a dream. Wake up, wake up. I started praying, but I couldn't wake up. It's just a dream. Wake up, please wake up. Next stop, minced meat. Minced meat is next. No, this is too much. It was getting closer. It's just a dream. Wake up, please wake up. And suddenly, silence. I had escaped again, or so I thought. Just as I was about to open my eyes, I heard a voice say, "Are you running away again? The next time we come for you will be the last." I opened my eyes, and this time I was really awake and in my room. But the announcement I heard definitely wasn't in the dream. I heard it here in the real world. I know I did. There's no mistake about it. Why me? What have I done to deserve this? I haven't had the dream since then, but I know the next time I have that dream, it will be the end for me. Medical report will probably say it was a heart attack or something else like that. In this world, might seem like only that, but there in the other world, I know I'll become minced meat. Ooh. Hopefully, you don't dream about this train. If you do, just remember to wake up before it's too late. I'm sure you'll be fine. After all, dreams can't hurt you. Dreams aren't real.